You have tuned in to another broadcast of Strategy Sunday with Dr. Ken. I am Dr. Ken, your host, board certified psychiatrist, veteran, and corporate leadership coach. I help corporate leaders pinpoint their leadership issues so they can develop thriving workplaces with less turnover, improve workplace morale, and increase organizational performance. This week, I've decided to use the letter T to help spark the word for the week. I have a question that's posed already. So, what do you say about an individual who can play roles ranging from Thurgood Marshall to King T'Challa? What would you say to that, right? So in this episode, I've entitled the subject T word, using what you already have. As usual, I like to hear what my audience members think about or have their thoughts shared about the word that they think we're going to be discussing today, because it also gives me some ideas about things we can do in the future. So, audience members, what word comes to mind when you think of the T word? Hey, Kay, thank you for joining. Give me some of your thoughts, just some of your guesses about what, based on that question that was just posed, what do we think the T word actually means? Timing, okay, I like that. Timing is sometimes everything in an organization, right? If they don't make that move at the right time, things can fall apart. If they move too early, if they move too late, there's always an opportunity cost for doing things like that. So we have Amber, thank you for joining. We have talented and tenacious. Very good words there. Oh, we have a few more options here. Tenacity. So we got tenacious, tenacity. We got transformative. Dr. Mashika comes in and drops off that big word, transformative. All right. Okay. All right. I like those responses. Transformation. Thank you, Susan. So the T word, right? Because we want to make sure we want to use what we already have. And those things can definitely apply. That tenacious mindset, the transformative leadership style, whatever it may be. However, today, the word that I'm going to expand upon is one we call talent, right? Talent. So talent, as we'll define it today, is an innate quality of an individual when performing a task or tasks, right? So the T word today is talent, an innate quality of an individual when performing tasks or a task. What do we think about that? Talent within an organization. It's imperative that we have a very productive, a very skilled workforce. However, there are certain jobs, certain qualities that are inherent to someone when they show up in the workplace. For an example would be a physician. A physician can learn how to have a respectable, a calm demeanor, and a pleasant bedside manner. However, some of that you would hope is innate to that individual, that they're now able to engage with other patients or individuals who are struggling or suffering at that moment and provide some degree of calm, rapport, and understanding, right? I would tell you, going back to some of the preparation work that I was doing for today's talk, came across a Harvard Business Review article by Martin and Schmidt from May of 2010. And I found two quotes to be very, very interesting, and not only interesting, but powerful. One said 70% of today's high performers lack critical attributes essential to their success in future roles. Again, these are high performers. These are the individuals who are like, they're making their deadlines. They seem to be thriving. They're highly engaged. But I thought it was very interesting that the article pointed out that 70% of those individuals lack critical attributes essential to their success in future roles. Because typically that's how we select our folks for new opportunities, right? The folks that are standing out, the folks that are always in the forefront. The second quote that I used to balance that out was that even employees who haven't been dubbed high potentials work harder in a place where good things happen to those who deserve them. Same article. So what that implied to me or suggests to me is that if there's a perception and or reality that fairness exists, you will have everybody working at their full capacity. The counter argument is that if fairness does not exist, you're going to have some issues to deal with. So, what are some of our thoughts? What are we thinking so far? Do we think that having talent and being aware of the talent around us is important or not? Is it just something that we're just making up? Yeah. So let me talk to you a little bit about some of the advantages of identifying your talent pipeline. Some terms will be introduced. I hope I will do a fair job of, or at least a good job of explaining to you what they are. Um, but hopefully it's enough to get the wheels turning from what we've been doing, what organizations have been doing, so that we can try to get to a different result. Advantages of identifying your talent pipeline are: one, retention. If folks are happy, they tend to stay. You don't have to deal with the I'm going to look elsewhere for a new challenge or a new opportunity. Okay, you minimize that you minimize the efforts it takes to constantly bring in new employees or new personnel. So your retention rate ideally is high. Another advantage of identifying your talent pipeline is that it's an organization expressing what I call organizational foresight. You're predicting your needs and kind of identifying individuals who may be able to fulfill those needs. Keep in mind that quote I said earlier, where the high performers may not be the individuals that will help you get to that next level. It may be somebody with that high potential that you really want to look into. The caveat there is that with high performance, oftentimes the article suggests that there's an added investment of time and oftentimes capital to develop those individuals, only to find out that they were not able to meet the expectations of that new position, or they they find another job elsewhere. Okay. When you identify your talent pipeline, you also put the right people in the right position so you can get the right result. That's self-explanatory. The one that I anticipate, my audience members having a little bit of challenge with is this term called reverse mentoring. Reverse mentoring. It's an example where a junior employee may mentor, quote unquote, mentor a senior employee or a manager or whatever, whoever that may be, in a specific area. So let's say in medicine, let's use medicine as an example. Let's say we have a physician who is not keen about using computers. They don't want to touch an electronic health record. Give them their pen, their paper chart, and they are good to go. Tablets, logins, password resets, they don't want to have anything to do with that, right? So in a case like that, you may have a junior physician help that senior physician to kind of learn the ropes, at least the basic knowledge about how to navigate the electronic health record. So that would be a specific example of how you could use reverse mentoring. Now, you can't tell me if, as a junior physician, I'm helping a senior physician function more efficiently in their job, that I'm not going to feel good about that. I'm going to feel great about that. Okay. So that's just an opportunity where if you know your pipeline, if somebody's good at technology, that's a person you want to pair that senior person up with so that it's a win-win. You retain that junior employee because now they're helping a senior individual thrive and excel in their work. You also have that junior employee kind of having some visibility on a whole nother level within that organization or office or department. Okay. Can we think of some other advantages of identifying your talent pipeline? While you guys think about that, let's move on to the second or the counter argument for not managing your pipeline. So what is the cost of not managing your talent pipeline? Now this one really stings, right? This one is where organizations really, you have the stress level increasing, you have, arguments just, spontaneously happening, or at least it appears to spontaneously happen. But there's a lot of stress, anxiety, worry, fear that is present when you're not managing your talent pipeline. Here's one: turnover is high. Folks don't stay where they don't feel happy, right? Think of relationships. Ideally, not staying in a relationship where you don't feel happy. There's always that turnover element that's going to be there. That organization who is not managing their talent pipeline is going to always been what's called a reactive posture. You're always looking for, hey, the hire and fire cycle. There's always that cycle that is always in motion. We like for it to be slow and not as repetitive, but there's always a cost to doing business in that manner. As I talked to one of my colleagues, Dr. Mashika, she does work with offices and helping to develop your staff. Has a book called Help Me or Fix My Staff. She talked about the poor investment of time, right? You spend a lot of time investing in individuals who may either jump ship, move on to another opportunity, or they're just not happy or pleased with the level of challenges, the level of intellectual capacity, intellectual activity that they're currently receiving in their current position or their current job. So those are just some things to look at. And the one thing that came out of the preparation work that I did was the lack of discretionary effort, right? Discretionary effort is where that individual goes the extra mile. They have that oomph to keep going, that one report that they can get into to their supervisor or to their boss, that extra day, that extra hour that they can put forth to get a job done on time. They don't have any ambition to do that, right? Because they don't feel respected, don't feel appreciated. So that's what happens when you don't manage that talent pipeline. They're dissatisfied, they're disgruntled, and they're ready for that next opportunity somewhere else. Does any of this stuff make any sense to you? Anybody get taking anything that sticks, anything that resonates with you? Let me see some of your thoughts. All right, so Dr. Mashika says, put your talent in the right position. Absolutely. Dr. Kadisha says, you have employees working where they lack talent. That is also true, right? It may be a desire to fill a position, but that person they could be struggling and they're not sure how to ask for help. So that's a very good point, Dr. Kadisha. Amber says, not managing your talent pipeline, well, one can feel there's no room for growth, and that talent leaves. Yeah, so if you have no room for growth, you've met the ceiling in terms of organization. That organization ideally did not take care of you in terms of recognizing what some of your ambitions are. If you fill out that job application, 5 years ago, and you haven't had anything but a performance review on how you performed in past events, as opposed to how you will perform on future opportunities, like that's a huge disconnect, right? You want to be given a performance evaluation saying, hey, you know what? I'm putting you up for team lead for our next project versus, yeah, you're going to have you on this team, and Johnny is going to lead the team, or Susan is going to lead the team again, and you're just like, wow, I'm ready for this. I've served in this team player role for three iterations of this project. Like I think I'm ready to be in the forefront. Like those are the kind of positions you want to put your high performer, your high potential employee in. Yes, yes, there's always a risk. I understand that, but without if you don't take a risk, there's no reward in terms of that reality coming to fruition. Another comment is that employers not respecting and not spending time on employees is discouraging. Absolutely. And as usual, Kay is always ahead when we talk about some of my tips. I think she's picking my brain or something. Maybe she's really, really engaging in what these Strategy Sunday sessions are like. So let's transition into some of the tips. So again, I am Dr. Ken Richmond, your board certified psychiatrist, veteran, and corporate leadership coach. I help corporate leaders pinpoint their leadership issues so they can develop thriving workplaces with less turnover, improve workplace morale, and increase organizational performance. The tips and strategies for attracting your talent are as follows. TikTok. You guys are going to love that one. Look within and cultivate relationships. Again, the tips are TikTok, look within, cultivate relationships. Should be easy to remember, right? So TikTok, what do I mean by that? That's the tip. The strategy here is you want to take the time to find out what makes your employees tick, right? What gets them going? Why are they working so hard for? Okay, so people like to get praised. There's no question about it, unless they have social phobia, and that's a whole other no situation. They don't want to be in the public. They don't want to be in the forefront. They just rather just give them a certificate or a plaque in private, and then they will be very happy. But for individuals who enjoy the praise of public acknowledgement of their effort and their work, they may not always like to receive a plaque or their name on a board. They may not always like that. Some way, some may. But you also find out if they're what makes them tick by knowing what their ambitions are. Let's say it's an employee who says, "Hey, I like to travel. Hey, I've always wanted to go to this either a game, a concert, whatever the case may be." Can you imagine how powerful that emotional capital would be if, as an employer, you made it possible for that employee, based on their effort of their work, right, the quality of their work, that you got them close to a meaningful memory like that in their life? I can tell you right now that would generate such a high level of loyalty and commitment to that employer-employee relationship. Just something to think about, because again, timing is of the essence. Time, all of that stuff is of the essence when it comes to find out what makes your employees tick. The second tip: look within. So if you are fortunate to have an organization or be a part of an organization where all your positions are filled, great. This talk may not be for you. However, if you are an organization where you are assessing for all the positions are being filled, but you're also assessing for satisfied versus dissatisfied employees, you're ahead of the game. Okay. If you find out that they are dissatisfied, you want to revisit your understanding of the mutual goals. Like, why are they working with you, and how are you helping them get to that next level, whether it be professionally within the organization or some other goal that you guys have hopefully identified from that relationship. Because if they are not aligned, it gives you an opportunity to now get things back in alignment. Okay. So again, look within your organization. The term promote from within, you want to at least see what your talent pool looks like. And ideally you can promote from within because you would have taken the time to know your people. Okay. Third tip: you want to cultivate relationships. And I know this one it seems self-explanatory, right? Business is about relationships. Employee-employer relationships, that's also a relationship, right? It's how do we foster that? So one way of doing that is to support your employees in their desire to succeed and be successful, to advance within your organization, and to contribute to whatever it is that they want to contribute to, whether it's a social issue or a corporate issue. Support them, find ways to support them creatively in a manner that ensures there's always a win-win, there's a mutual benefit of doing that. How do you do so? Well, you do so by building trust. Another T word that we probably talked about at some point, right? But you want to build trust. You want to bolster their autonomy, especially as it pertains to making decisions. Especially when it comes to making decisions, you want to make sure that they have some sense of working through issues independent, and then actually having someone to bounce that idea off of. And you also want to be able to further develop their talent, put them in positions where those innate set of abilities that they have, they can put them to work, put them to use, allow that organization to grow, allow that individual to grow. Okay. So as an organization, are you prepared to lose talented employees? I will be interested in seeing what some of your strategies are when it comes to retaining individuals within your organization. Going back to the earlier example where we use Chadwick Boseman, right? Playing roles from Thurgood Marshall to King T'Challa, right? If he wasn't given the opportunity to go from one role to the next, or at least seek those opportunities, or be fostered, or at least be presented with those opportunities, we would have missed out on something great. Within your organization, are there talent that could be developed a little bit more than what you've done? Are there strategies you can now utilize in a different way to help your organization grow? Again, I'm really, really interested in seeing what your thoughts are. Okay. And thank you for tuning in. This is Dr. Ken, board certified psychiatrist, veteran, and corporate leadership coach. I help corporate leaders pinpoint their leadership issues so they can develop thriving workplaces with less turnover, improve workplace morale, and increase organizational performance. You can follow me by liking this page at facebook.com/Dr. Ken Richmond. That's DrKenrichmond. Or you can visit my website, www.drkenrichmond.com, and you can follow me on all social media platforms. All right. Thank you and have a good rest of your evening.